Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Rashida McFerrin, and today we are going to be talking about back to school. This week is technically the first week of school. I know it is here in Texas. Normally, we start school about the third or fourth week in August, but for some reason this year we have the luxury of starting school 2.5, almost 3 weeks early. And it is throwing me off, honey. And so I don't know about you, but I'm an athletic mom. And as we get the year going, I'm feeling like overwhelmed because I feel like I didn't have enough time to prep in the summertime, even though I know I prepped like 2 months ago. Because usually when we get out of school, I start prepping for the next school year. We have practices, adding school to it, doing lunches, trying to make sure lunches are planned out. We've just been running this week. And so, number one, I want to wish every parent and student out there a happy and safe, healthy school year to get started. And then I want to talk about 4 quick tips that I use to get us through the school year without going bonkers. So number one is we're going to create a consistent routine. I have pretty much been doing this since my son was probably about 2 years old when he really consistently started going to school on a regular everyday basis is we're going to prepare our clothes and iron our clothes 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Technically, I've been doing this routine for the past 14 years. And so it helps us with managing the day to day so that we're not worried about what we're wearing in the morning. And so what I'll do is I'll plan out uniforms for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And we get our clothes ironed, we get everything that goes with that day put on the hanger so we don't have to worry about trying to find stuff in the morning when we're trying to get through the rigmaroles of the morning and getting out the house. And this helps save so much time. We're just focused on getting up, getting our head and our mind together, having breakfast, and then getting out the door. And with kids, there's always an extra something somewhere in the morning routine that they're going to throw in there. So, like this morning, my son was like, "Yeah, by the way, mom, sign all these syllabuses for the rest of the semester." When are they due? He's like, "Today." Seriously, though, we're trying to get out the house. I'm signing the syllabus for each class, and then he has to go in and sign behind them. As long as he gets his signature on there in class, then he gets credit for it. And I'm like, if you've had these since Monday, why are you just not giving them to me today and they're due today? But as we all know, that's how kids usually operate. Anything you can do that can give you structure and a consistent routine for the morning will save you so much time in regards to making your head hurt when things are going haywire in your house during the morning time. And then number two, we're going to encourage the independence. We started getting on the independence tip like once he hit high school. A lot of the things that he needs to know how to do once he goes to college, I started when he turned 14 because I'm not going to be in your room at school in your dorm, right? Like when you need to get up and be there for class, when you have to prep and have to be at practice and things like that. And so we started as early as we possibly could so that I could get him into a consistent routine of checking in with himself so that he has that structure there, that my voice is still in his head when I'm not physically there. And we've been doing pretty good at it. Each year, I add on a layer of responsibility and let him manage it. Like last year, one of the big things was with his grades. Usually I check behind him in regards to doing his work. But last year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust you to be a little more responsible and to turn your work in like you're supposed to. And I'm going to let you handle in management. And the only time that I would step in is if I got either a call from a teacher or an email from a teacher inquiring about something in regards to what was going on with him in class. Outside of that, he did a really good job making honor roll, managing his sports, keeping himself on task and on track. And I always award the grades. I pay a certain amount of money for his grades because it gives him some type of incentive to keep wanting to do good. And like he cashed out on me at the end of last year. I feel like I paid him a good $500 or $600 because he got busy and brought the grades in, which he always does. That's not outside of the norm for him. The big thing, though, like I said, from this year was encouraging him to move more into his independence and owning the structure of his time and his life and his schedule. So, number three, we check in about stress and mental health because it's a lot. Just being a teenager in today's modern times with social media and everything that is always going on with the kids, you have to constantly check in with them mentally to make sure that they're okay. And if he's feeling overwhelmed, I start to back things off of him that I feel like may be putting additional stress on him that I, as a parent, know that I can manage. Like I mentioned in step number two, giving him the responsibility, you also want to keep in mind that they are still just kids. And so I don't overwhelm him with the responsibility. And if he takes on the responsibility of something that I feel like he can't handle, I back it off of him. And so checking in and making sure that he's in the right state of mind. They're teenagers, girlfriend, boyfriend, things are going on if they are in relationships, and that is usually a pretty big deal to them in their teen years. So I make sure to constantly check in with him in regards to what's going on in his own social life and then what's going on in his school life with teachers and things of that nature. And like it helps, it keeps the communication open with us. He comes to talk to me about stuff that kids normally wouldn't talk to parents about because he feels comfortable knowing that the level of our relationship is very real and very authentic. And I pride myself on the fact that I have given him that security so that he can know, "Well, your mom's got your back all the time." That is number three. And then for number four, I try to do family activities throughout the year. And so number four is making sure you're staying connected through family time by doing shared activities together. As kids go into their teen years, they're going into their independence phase. And I remember very clearly going through that phase with my mother, and my parents and my grandparents. And the last thing I wanted to do was hang out with my mom. Like, or my grandparents outside of the normal responsibilities you hold as being a child and or a grandchild. So, since he's in this phase, I make a point to schedule shared activities intentionally so that we are still spending time together as a family. And what I'm realizing now, the more he does sports, is like I'm having to turn our sports events into family activities. And so what will happen is I'll invite our family up to go see his games now. And instead of, because like, we're not going to be going to them because they live in a whole different state. For the kickoff season game, we're inviting our family up. It's going to be almost 10 of us. We're going to make that a family shared event. And so it is doing shared family time and activities that's literally centered around him because it's literally hard to get a teenager to want to do stuff with their fam at this point. And not to say that you shouldn't do it, you should continue to do scheduled family time that allows him to participate in that time as a requirement just because it's tradition, but also be mindful of the fact that he's coming into his own. It will continue to be that way because as he goes to college, if he decides to play ball at college, we will continue to do things like this centered around family time that is participating in events that he is doing. And I think that was number four. So that is going to be it. I hope something in this episode adds some type of value to your life. If you enjoy listening to this episode, by all means, like, subscribe, and or follow, and leave a review. Let me know how you feel about the episode and if the episode helped you. And as always, you can always find out information about us on our website at rashida.ai. And until when, I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.